Welcome to A Meaningful Marketplace.
I'm Sarah Massoni from Oregon State University's Food Innovation Center, where I've helped countless dreamers launch their new food products. It's the science of taking a food delight from the kitchen to mass manufacturing and still keeping its great taste. That's what I do. I've been called the woman with the $1 million palate, although I haven't tried to cash that check yet. Listen in weekly for real-life stories.
I'm Sarah Marshall, owner of Marshall's Hot Sauce and author of Preservation Pantry, modern canning from root to top and stem to core. I love inspiring business owners to get started on their journey, encourage folks to be part of their local community, and I'm excited to help business owners tell their stories. Hello and welcome to the Meaningful Marketplace. We are here weekly to discuss the journeys of food entrepreneurs. We're glad you've joined us today as we bring you stories of hope and inspiration. This is Sarah Marshall, owner of Marshall's Hot Sauce.
And Sarah Massoni of Oregon State University's Food Innovation Center. Hi, Sarah Marshall.
Hi, Sarah Massoni. Travel time.
Travel, big time.
It's big time travel. I just got back from Seattle. I went up for an event called Taste of the Sound, which was very fun. Met lots of Washington people that are new buddies, but and we're also going to see them when you and I are together in Sacramento.
That's great.
We're going there this week for Terra Madre. And then from there, I'm going to LA for Cherry Bomb Jubilee.
Yep. And I'm going to Wyoming for the Slow Foods end of season farmers market.
So cool. We're hitting the road. I feel like I don't usually travel this much, but my kid, started junior high and she doesn't really seem to need me. She's like gone all day.
That's great.
So I figured the grandparents kind of can hang here, and Dirk and I just figured we'll go roam around. Right?
That's good.
Yeah.
And I wanted to compliment you on your foresight of, spending time up in the Seattle market. That's a great place for people from Oregon to go and tap into the community of specialty food buyers.
Yeah, so the event that they organized up there, they invited buyers for the first hour and then just general people for the second hour. And we were invited to come make some tasty bites for people, and people bought tickets and they could have cocktails and roam around and talk to all of us. And it was really fun. It was great. It was a great day and great way to interact with the Seattle community because they're not so familiar with me and my product. And there was other Portland makers that were there too. So it was really nice. They had a room for Seattle people and then a room for us that had traveled for the day. So it was very nice.
That's cool.
Yeah. And Seattle was excited for us to be there. So it was really cool. They had a lot of the people that were there had never met us or heard of us. Nikki from Hot Mama Salsa came too. So it was nice to have another sauce buddy, and there's not so many hot sauce makers up there as there are down here. So people were excited to meet us and talk to us and try our stuff. So we had a good time.
That's good.
Yeah, it was really great. So, and then I'm excited to go to Sacramento. So I'm going to see you after this. I'm going to see you there.
We have a few other people joining us. We have Jolma from Amza Foods.
Yeah, she's my farmer's market neighbor. We get to be neighbors often. I'm glad.
And then Oregon Seafood is hopefully going to be there on Saturday. So we'll have seaweed, Oregon seaweed, not seafood. Well, it is seafood, but it's seaweed.
Yeah, super fun. I should bring my product I make. I use their seaweed in one of my sauces, so I'll bring that along.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, since we're going to be booth buddies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we've been partnering with the Regional Food Business Center to bring you guests from the 6-state region, and we're currently meeting with business owners from the great state of Montana. I'd like to welcome our co-host, Hailey Vine from the Montana Department of Agriculture. Thanks for being our Montana expert while we meet all these great new friends. Welcome, Hailey.
Hey, guys. Thank you.
We're glad to have you back. You have any Montana news or updates or things to tell us about?
Oh man, nothing too different from last week. I guess one of the things that we're prepping for is the end of the quarter, which means the end of our business acceleration and marketing grants, our BAM grant, which is a quarterly one, closes at the end of the month. So that one's always awesome because we get to see new projects that are like marketing and commerce capability expansion projects, or we see different R&D projects come out of that. Actually, our guest on the show was a recent recipient, so she may be able to speak to her project. But yeah, that one's coming to a close at the end of the month. Yeah, otherwise, it's grant season, I feel like across the nation. So our food and ag development centers are gearing up to offer assistance in that realm too.
Very cool. Well, I'm excited to have you here. Excited to talk to our guest. When I met our guest at one of the food shows, I had told you right away that I wanted to have her on the show. So that was a while ago because it was in Vegas, but I'm excited that it finally happened. So thanks for introducing me to her.
Yeah,
You
Kacie
got
joined
it.
us at the Fancy Food Show.
Yeah.
That was great
That's
to
how I
have
met
you.
her. So we would like to encourage you to connect to your state by signing up for the Regional Food Business Center newsletter. It's a breeze to sign up. Just go to Northwest Rocky Mountain Regional Food Business Center.com, hit connect with us, and choose the button to receive newsletters. We want to thank our sponsor for supporting the Meaningful Marketplace. Thank you for helping us spread the word about small business owners and entrepreneurs. Let's hear a word from our sponsor. The Northwest and Rocky Mountain Regional Food Business Center is the proud sponsor of the Meaningful Marketplace podcast, giving a voice to food from across the 6-state region of Colorado, Idaho, Montana, Oregon, Washington, and Wyoming. The Food Business Center supports Northwest and Rocky Mountain food industry makers as part of the USDA's National Network of Food Business Centers, supporting a more resilient, diverse, and competitive food system as a go-to source for small and mid-tier food and farm businesses, with a focus on underserved communities, providing education in the form of technical knowledge, business programs, and industry news. We sponsor trade shows, meetups, and conferences to connect growers, producers, retailers, distributors, and processors, all to stimulate business and raise the standards of our storied food industry. Join us as we travel through the 6-state region, learning more about food makers, food hubs, and food systems. Visit the website at Northwest Rocky Mountain Regional Food Businesses.com to get connected. And I would like to introduce you to Kacie. She is the owner of 41 Grains, making lentil crunchers and gluten-free baking mixes in Circle, Montana. Welcome, Kacie.
Hi, thanks for having me.
We're so glad you're here today. We always like to connect our listeners to you online, on social media, and in that realm. Can you tell people the best way for people to find you?
Yep, our 41grains.com website is the best way to find all of our products. We are on some wholesale sites, so if you're a wholesale business owner, we do a lot of stuff on fair.com, so that's a great way to find us as well.
Perfect. We always like to start at the beginning of your journey. So can you tell people when you started your business and what inspired you to start 41 Grains?
So we're farmers in eastern Montana, and our son actually really wanted to come back to the farm, and we were really trying to figure out how we could expand enough to be able to let him do that. And I had kind of been playing with some ideas of different things we could do. And inspiration hit me, of course, at the oddest times. I was actually over at a neighbor's house, and he milled some chickpeas into flour, and he made chocolate chip cookies, and they were amazing. And I was like, these are so good. I'm going to have to play with this. So I started messing around with our own chickpeas, and I really just loved the way that the flour baked in general. And then I started looking into the nutrition facts because I'm a huge nutrition buff. And so I was like, yeah, I think this is something. So just kind of started coming out with some different products and testing some things. And our very first show was the Made in Montana show, and it was awesome. And we're like, yeah, I think this really can work. So we just kept moving forward.
Very cool. Let's describe to people the product that I know you for is the lentil crunchers. So I know that you also do gluten-free baking mixes, but let's describe to people what those are.
The lentil crunchers they're kind of like corn nuts, but they're lentils, so they're much, much smaller, and they're just ready to eat little snacks, and you can put them on your salad instead of like croutons if you want something that has more protein. Or we have a new, just in the last I think 9 months now, we came out with a new apple flavor as well, and that one's great to top on like parfaits or cottage cheese, yogurt, things like that. But a lot of people just eat them just as a straight snack, usually right out of the bag.
That's my go-to way.
Yeah.
Tell us the flavors. I know you have a couple of flavors.
Yeah, so there's the signature salty, a sweet hickory, a dill pickle, which is a definite favorite, and then the sauced apple. So that one's kind of like a rummed apple pie flavor.
My favorite's the salty, and I have some here. I know people can't see them, but the cool thing is that they look like lentils, like dried lentils that you'd get
Mhm.
in the grocery store, but then they're not. They're like puffed, or I don't know. Are they baked?
They are fried.
They're
So they're
fried.
soaked and fried, and then they're seasoned.
And they're crunchy.
Mhm.
Oh, this one's the hickory one, which is delicious too. And you mentioned putting them on salads.
Mhm.
That's my favorite application. But I also
Yeah,
just, because I'm on the go all the time, I like to have them just to have as a snack because I don't know, do lentils have a lot of protein, I'm guessing?
they do. Yep.
Yeah.
They're high in protein and they have a lot of trace minerals in them in general. So I'm a huge proponent for any way we can get more trace minerals in our diet is excellent, along with protein, because we don't get either one enough.
I always have them on hand whenever we're going to go on a longer hike, or like I put them in my husband's hunting pack because you need the salt. You're sweating the whole time chasing down these animals. And then, yeah, they're a little more nutritious for sure than say you just grab those chewy, sugary granola bars.
Yeah. And realistically, like you chew them a little bit more than you would like a granola bar. And that is another element that actually gets all the good nutrition out. Like that kind of triggers your brain a little bit more to good digestion and all of those things. So not everybody knows that, but and they're light, So for people that are like hiking or things like that, they're not heavy. They're really light to pack around.
Let's take it to the farm. You're in eastern Montana
Yep.
and you're using dry land farming technique. Can you tell us in a basic way what that means? Because I have no idea. When I'm in my garden and I haven't watered it, I'm like, today I'm a dry land farmer. And I talk to my plants and I say, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so we don't do any irrigation when we do dry land. So it's pretty much we're just praying to God that the rain comes down and waters the crops and they grow enough to be able to harvest. And so our planting season starts usually in April, try to finish up in May, and then we're harvesting by August. So we actually, my husband's probably just finishing up with the last field of chickpeas right now. So it was been a little bit late. We had late rains this year, so it was a little bit off, but it's been a good year so far. I guess it's been decent. But yeah, we don't do any irrigation. Pretty much just plant the crops and let them grow. Now, pulses in general, we started doing those a few years back, 8 years, 9 years now, maybe. And those put a lot of their own natural fertilizer into the ground. So that was a big reason why we started doing crop rotations with that. Typically, Eastern Montana with dryland farming has been wheat because it's the only thing that would grow without rain. But in recent years, they've really been pushing out pulse crops. And not only is it good for dryland farming, it puts a lot of nutrition back into the soil. So it's building better topsoil, less synthetic chemicals that have to be put on them. It's just overall better for the environment. And then the nutrition value that it's giving back into the soil for even the wheat that's coming back the next year is huge.
Can
Yeah,
you
because they're
tell us?
nitrogen fixators, just by their natural components.
Yep.
Can you tell us what a good crop year looks like for you?
So for chickpeas, typically 25 to 30 bushel is pretty average for us. Lentils can really vary. 35 is probably a pretty good crop. Now, wheat, if if it's been if it's been planted right after a pulse year, it's usually typically a little bit better and will baseline around 40, but it can definitely be better if it's a good year, if we get a little bit more rain. Just it all depends. But those are probably pretty average
And when you use those numbers, you're talking about bushels, right?
bushels. Yep.
And what does that mean?
So that's 60 pounds per acre. So that's usually how we do it. How many bushels per acre did you get? And a bushel is 60 pounds.
Okay. Good to know. I have no idea. Did you know that, Sarah Marshall?
No, of course not.
Wait.
recently learned that apples are a different bushel size. And I don't remember
Oh,
what it was, but I seen that that's different. So I was like, oh,
Because
more
some crops are
water,
measured just by pounds too.
hmm
So it
pounds
all
per
just,
acre.
yeah, yep. So it totally depends. And like
I
in
mean,
Casey, you can speak to this more, but like when you're planting, you plant pounds per acre of
yes,
seed, right? It's not bushels per acre of seed, but
yes.
don't you
yeah,
think that was a harvest thing? Like they had bushel baskets and they
yeah,
harvested into baskets, so it's just carryover, I imagine.
hmm
totally.
I did see on your website that you plant yellow peas. Is that for soil health or is that for harvesting as well?
Yeah, for both. We actually did a lot of yellow peas this year. And yes, that was the very first pulse crop we ever did. And we saw a lot of really good. It also grows the nodules or um, nitrogen nodules that will put fertilizer back into the ground. And they have they're typically growing taller. So in certain places it's usually better. It can help with different elements too, of more cover at the end of the year, because you don't have to put the header on the ground. Like lentils, they're really short, so like there's nothing left. It's bare ground after you've cut them, and so there's not much to hold the snow on the ground after it's done. So you usually don't want to do lentils like 2 years in a row, because you need the residual on the ground to give back into the soil as well. Yeah, yellow peas are really interesting. I do want to start doing some yellow pea products, uh, some flour, and then doing some mixes as well. They're so similar to chickpeas in like the way that the flour mills, and how it tastes and how it cooks and all of those things. And they have more vitamins in them, whereas chickpeas have more minerals in them. And so they're like kind of a little bit of the yin and yang. I think a blend would be an amazing combo for people to be able to utilize.
There's a couple of projects we've kind of worked on here at the Food Innovation Center. One of them was with green chickpeas, and
Oh,
you can make a green chickpea hummus, which is really tasty.
mm.
And then the other one was I helped with nutrition on it, was actually roasting the chickpeas and then turning them into like a butter, like a peanut butter.
Ooh,
Oh,
yum.
I've
Yeah.
had a few of those chickpea peanut butters, and they're pretty good. There's one that I had was cinnamon, like a cinnamon spice one that
Mm.
was pretty good.
Could you do yellow peas like what you do with the lentils? Or do you think they'd be
Probably.
too thick?
No, I think they probably could. I almost think that they would be better if you split them.
Right.
But I don't know. We're gonna try it,
Try
but
wasabi peas.
wasabi peas.
You know, in those Asian rice cracker mixes, they have peas that are
Oh,
coated in some kind of carbohydrate that has wasabi in it, and they're just baked and they're crunchy. They're usually green. Yellow ones would be pretty
yeah. Yeah, I would like
crispy.
to do a variety of different types of Montana crops. So like lentils they're the first one we have, but we do want to try a variety. And I think I like a Montana-based trail mix with
Hmm.
just crops that are grown in Montana, but you can just like grab and go eat with some fun spices would be a really fun little thing to do
It's a
one
great
day.
idea. Snacking is like big. People
Yeah.
grab a snack and sometimes it fills their stomach till they can get to a meal. So,
hmm Well, and if you can get one that has good protein and good vitamins and minerals and is close to the field as you can, that's always just way better.
yeah.
We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, let's talk about your gluten free baking mixes. We'll be right back.
Oregon State University's College of Agricultural Sciences and the Food Innovation Center are proud sponsors of Meaningful Marketplace. With a mission to serve all Oregonians, we are committed to giving voice to those whose food and agricultural stories are not always heard. By providing access and opportunity for a more diverse and just food system, because food brings people together. I definitely want to try the lemon bars. I want to know all about those and how you came up with that recipe.
So when we got the lentil cruncher business was actually somebody else that started that, and they didn't want to continue, so we kind of combined it in with ours. So that was a recipe that Shauna came up with, and I tweaked it a little bit by putting our chickpea flour in instead of regular wheat flour. And the thing about the lentils in there that's so fun is it almost creates like a graham cracker crust thing on the bottom. And so the lentils are, yeah, they just sink to the bottom and create like a little crust, and they are so good. I'm not really a lemon kind of person, and I can't stop eating the lentil lemon bars when I make them. They're so yummy.
Have you tried making shortbread with that?
No, I haven't.
I bet that would be good.
Hmm. Yeah, I kind of, in general, I just stick away from breads. I'm not the best bread maker in the world. I keep trying my hand at sourdough. Maybe one day I'll actually get it.
I can help you there, Kacie.
My brother even says he can help me, and I don't know. I'm a lost cause with bread. I'm just way better at cooking, just cooking, which was kind of how like we came up with some of the different like cooking mixes that we have, gravy and the different coatings, because that's kind of more my thing. I'm just always experimenting and throwing things together when it comes to like actual food beyond desserts. I'm not a huge dessert person.
One time I had to make a huge dinner for a bunch of vegetarians, and I made gravy out of chickpea flour.
Hmm.
So that's a thing. You could probably have a gravy mix.
We do have a gravy mix.
Oh, you do?
We
I
do.
don't see it
Yeah.
on your website.
I don't know. Maybe it's hidden on there, but it's in there. It's pretty popular. It's a white gravy mix, like a peppered country gravy. I wonder if it's hidden. Maybe it's out of stock or something on the website right now, but it's pretty popular. And then we have a coating mix, which is like
Oh,
for
I found it.
chicken fry. So I started with the coating mix, and that one was kind of fun because I didn't tell anybody in my family I was doing it. I was just making it. And so I made the chicken fries and I served them the first time, and I was like, how is it? Whatever. And they were like, oh yeah, it's delicious. Like they had no idea that it was chickpea flour that I had used on the batter. And then the next time I did gravy, and I made the chickpea flour gravy, and I didn't tell them, and they were just like scarfing it down. They just absolutely loved it. And then when I came out with the gravy mix a couple months later, my uncle was like, "Hey, we haven't got to try that. Like, why haven't you let us try it?" And I said, "Oh, you have. You just didn't know it. You were being my guinea pig. I wanted to see if you could tell the difference." They couldn't tell the difference. So that was pretty fun.
It's always good to test out new products on family.
Hmm. Yeah, they've been my hardcore guinea pigs.
I just keep snacking on these lentils instead of talking on the show.
Haley, what are some of your data points that you have about pulses and
Ooh,
dry
pulses.
farming?
Yeah, Montana has been a leader in the pulse industry for some time now. I don't know if we are the number one producers of lentils anymore, but I know our numbers are increasing, especially compared to 2023. I was actually just looking on our website and some of the data we got from NAS. But what's super cool too is that through MDA, we have a program called Ola Montana, which is how we export so many of our legumes, which would be, our lentils and our chickpeas. And it's great. I mean, it's such a cool program, and it has its own website and our trade team. It's kind of hosted by our one-man show, Weston Merrill, and he's incredible. Kacie knows him. And he just does a great job of promoting Montana crop outside of Montana. But with that is what's so cool about us also being able to promote this Montana pulse crop in Montana, with Kacie and then her partnering with the original creator of Lentil Crunchers and them just coming together to keep that Montana business like in Montana, supporting those Montana families. Like that's huge. And then two, for it to be such a vertically integrated business model when the crop is usually exported is another really cool thing I think these businesses have. So hopefully we can see more pulse processing come into the state, but it takes a lot when you're rural. And I just think with how we're trending with just the production of it, hopefully we can keep more of it in the state than just exporting out of the country. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
value-added food
Even
products definitely have a nice impact on the economy for a state. So I think
Mhm.
that's a good goal.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I talked to a company here a few weeks ago, and they buy a lot of Montana chickpeas. And specifically, they told me they buy Montana chickpeas because they don't buy organic. But when they were doing testing in different areas, we have some of the lowest chemical residuals across the board for Montana chickpeas. And so I was like, oh, yeah, go Montana. That's that dry land cropping, that super dry land. We don't have to spray very much on anything with chickpeas. So
sometimes there's a benefit not having any moisture.
I know.
I kind of bond a little more with Kacie because my husband and I used to farm in Circle as well.
Yeah.
So I got to meet Kacie and known Kacie over the last, I don't know, 5 years now.
Yeah.
So it's been cool to
Yeah.
watch her journey.
I just want Kacie to tell people if they can order from her and does she ship outside of Montana? Because some of our guests from Montana can't. The people want to know, can they get your products?
Oh, yes, absolutely. You can order online and we ship all over the US. We have actually shipped quite a bit to Canada. And I did have a weird stint there for a while where I had a bunch of people from the UK that were ordering. So, yeah, we ship all over the place.
That's great. Hey, tell us about this is the most interesting product I think you have, which is the cocoa cereal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that one's my own creation. When we were doing the processing, we had a byproduct essentially that was it kind of looked like cornmeal, but to me, I thought, oh, this kind of looks like cream of the West or cocoa cereal. And so I was like, I wonder if I could make it into cereal. And so I did. You just pretty much take that, and I added some cocoa base powder and some brown sugar, and you put a little water in it, put it in the microwave, and a really protein packed breakfast. It worked really well. The first time I put way too much cocoa in, I will say. Chickpeas like to accentuate flavors.
Mm.
So when you use any sort of chickpeas for anything, if you let it meld at all, it will pull those flavors out. And I used way too much cocoa the first time I experimented, and I almost died the first bite that I took. I'm really glad nobody was around. Yeah, it's kind of like oatmeal if you don't know what cream of West is. It's just like a finer grind, I would say, than like
It's
oatmeal,
like
but very similar.
it's like
Cereal.
malto meal.
Yes, malto meal.
Yeah, Cream of the West is one of your local products there in Montana.
Mm-hmm.
Kacie, I was going to say, you should describe to them your operation, where it's laid out in town and your grain bins and how all that works, getting filtered
Oh,
right
yeah.
into the building, like the processing of it.
Yeah, so when we got started, we bought a building that was right on Main Street and not actually for food processing. We have a gym here and a kind of a Montana-based type store, so we sell Montana products. And so everything that gets grown on the farm then gets brought into town, and we got a couple of grain bins back behind in our parking lot area. And so then we turned one of the offices into our milling area, and then we got a flex auger system. So there's an auger that comes out of the grain bin and comes directly into the building. And so we can just like flip a switch and it'll auger it in there to mill. And then we, because the upstairs was like sectioned into all these different rooms, but we had a full basement, we also have a pipe that comes down through the floor and drops it downstairs. And so we have all of our packaging and stuff is downstairs. And it's just me doing all of it from marketing to packaging and milling and making all the mixes. We mix them all individually by hand and fill each bag, and then they all get shipped out. I'm shipping and processing as well. Everybody knows me because I take my little go-go buggy down the street. We're just a block away from the post office. So I just load up all my orders and take my little cart down the street every single day. The lady said
That's
that they can
good.
hear me coming down the street. It's kind of loud, but
That's
like, oh,
cool.
she's on her way.
Can people drop in and buy product right there?
Yes. Yeah, I'm pretty much just open on Wednesdays now because it has been so busy. But yeah. And then our local grocery store also sells some of our products. And quite a few of the co-ops across the state of Montana also have our products. So if you're involved in any of those direct co-ops, you can get our stuff from them as well.
I saw your stuff on the shelf in the Kalispell Wheat Montana store.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have two Wheat Montana stores, the Kalispell one and the Great Falls one as well.
That's cool. Have you ever tried making pasta?
I have not tried making pasta. I've had people ask me about it. Um, yeah, that adds in a whole nother element of wet. And when you go from dry to a wet type product, it's like a whole different thing. So
Yeah.
I would never probably do it like
You have to
mass.
have a separate place, probably.
Yeah, it's a well, and then there's just extra regulations, and
Maybe
that's
you could
actually a different type of food license. And
have Wheat Montana. Isn't there a big, huge pasta company there?
There's a couple. We have
Yeah.
Pasta Montana, and then there's one in Billings too.
Sarah Marshall has pasta. She has somebody make for her.
Yeah, we grow the herbs and grind them in house, and then we take them to our local pasta maker who has the machinery to make it and the dryers. That's the key piece. The dryers are the really expensive part, and so then they make them and dry them. But if you have something like that in Montana, you could use either your chickpeas or your lentil flour, take it to them, and then they would, make it and dry it. But it's still your product that you grow.
Co-packing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's pretty nice.
yeah, that's what we do with the lentils. We have a co-packer that helps us with those. So we take the cleaned lentils to Big Sandy Organics. They do crackling kamut, which is kamut is like
It's an
It's
ancient
ancient
wheat.
grain.
Yeah.
yeah, it's an ancient grain that has like doesn't have the protein that usually causes irritation with gluten free. So it's kind of like our lentils, but it's with the kamut. And so they cook it for us. And well, I take them the seasonings as well because we make the seasonings and then we bring it back in bulk and then we package it here. They're doing their big upgrades. So actually, so my BAM, the business acceleration and marketing grant that I got was to help with that because they're going to be doing a full upgrade and I need to be able to do roll stock. So like auto packaging. And so our BAM grant that we got through Montana Department of Agriculture is going to help us get that all underway because that's quite a process, which
That's
seems a
cool.
little crazy, but and you have to buy in such bulk that it all has to be like very perfect. I've just been taking things from home from now, but yeah.
How many people receive those grants?
It varies. So we have our Grow Through Agriculture program, and BAM is like a subset of that. It's kind of like a mini GTA. And so our Ag Development Council votes on a certain pot of money that gets held back from GTA to fund our business acceleration and marketing grant. And it's a rolling quarterly application that's a first come, first serve. So if you apply and are approved and get the money one quarter, and then say you miss the application window and you apply next quarter, there's no guarantee that we win have awarded all the funds. So I know like last year, the first quarter, I think we awarded over 15. And then just this last one, we only awarded, I think, 8. And then I think right now I could see this next quarter only having like 5. So it just ebbs and flows. But you definitely feel the pressure when we tell our food and ag development centers of like, hey, there's only X amount left. Tell your clients, because you can only apply for 20,000 for that grant and only 5 of it can be used for equipment. So it is a lower amount, so we can in theory help more. But yeah, it's different every quarter, but it's fun because of that.
Yeah, that's really cool that you got that and you have a plan, Kacie, and you're going to use it to expand your business. That's super cool.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see what our new packaging is going to look like because that's always fun to get to design and help create something new too.
Yeah, and those are always kind of risky things to do and hard things to do on your own. So it's good to get the support of your state to help you with that. For
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Yeah.
Well, if people want to buy some products for you, let's direct them one more time to where they can do that.
At 41grains.com. Got all of our different products on there. And if you are a wholesale, you can go to fair.com and order from there.
Perfect. Hailey or Sarah, any final questions for Kacie?
Which mix of yours do you make the most at home for your family?
Oh, probably the chickpea lentil soup. It is just a toss in the crock pot, quick and fast meal. And it is so good. And I think the thing that's fun about it too is you can do it with chicken or sausage or burger or, Polish sausages. Like I've tried it with all different varieties of meat, and it just almost changes the whole thing. Because again, chickpeas accentuate flavors. So the different flavors of different meats just kind of change it a little bit. So it's always a little bit different every time you have it.
And what's the seasoning for that one?
It's got a couple different seasonings in it. And then there's a spicy and a mild. So they're both
okay,
different.
spicy and mild. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But I do use a lot of Alpine Touch seasonings because they're a Montana-based company. So we try to source as much as possible that we can through Montana companies. So even the oil that we get for cooking our lentil crunchers, that's from a Montana company that buys Montana products and turns it into canola oil. So we try and do as much as possible with Montana products.
It feels like if a person bought everything that you have, you would have a nice shelf in your pantry full of yummy stuff. So everybody do it.
Yes. Yeah, we definitely have the full expanse of there is something for everybody. You could find something you would enjoy or be able to use for any taste or cooking style or whatever.
Yeah, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
We do. Yep. And when we added the lentil crunchers in, it was like, oh, we finalized everything because now we have a snack.
You can go to the movies.
Yep.
Well, Kacie, it was great to have you on the show today and hear your story and talk about your products. I'm glad we could finally get you on after we met you in Vegas at the food show, and we'll direct people your way. And we love what you're doing. And thanks for highlighting Montana businesses and all of your products. You're doing great things there in Montana. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. Really enjoyed it.
And thank you for listening to the Meaningful Marketplace podcast. Before you go, show some love for our podcast by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or iTunes. You can follow us on Instagram or YouTube at Meaningful Marketplace Podcast, and you can call or text Sarah and I with questions at 503-395-8858. And we couldn't do this without our fantastic team at Joy of Creation Production House. Thanks to Dave, our production coordinator, and Hailey, our audio engineer. We'll be back next week, everybody. Thanks for joining. Bye.
Bye for now.
If you love the stories we bring you each week, please consider supporting us on Patreon. As an independent media company, your support is absolutely essential. It allows us to continue creating high-quality professional episodes that amplify the voices of women, small business owners, writers, artists, and creatives, and keep their stories free from commercial pressure. By becoming a Patreon member, you're not just supporting us, you're investing in the future of independent media. Please visit patreon.com/The Joy of Creation Production House to join our community today. Thank you for listening and supporting our podcast dreams.